How do you feel?
Ecstatic. I'm really proud of us. I think we've done ourselves proud.
You've done very well.
Haven't embarrassed ourselves.
You've done that huge Irish family really proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, listen, you've been fantastic. I'm so delighted that you're going home with £3,740. Marie and Claire, I can safely say you do know your lingo. That is it for today. Next time, we'll have more teams playing for thousands of pounds. You can join us too. But do you know your lingo?
Tonight, at the brink of all-out war, the world on edge as explosions ring out across the Middle East. A joint US-Israel strike on Iran kills hundreds and takes out its leader before Tehran retaliates with force. Schools, airports, luxury hotels, all in the firing line. The destruction is growing tonight and there's no sign the violence will relent.
He is responsible for orchestrating attacks on Australian soil. His passing will not be mourned.
Our Prime Minister backs the strikes on Iran as the government scrambles to determine if any Australians have been caught up in the carnage. Widespread repercussions, global travel in turmoil, airspaces closed, flights grounded. What you need to know if your loved ones are travelling or trying to get home. Also tonight, flooding turns deadly. Parts of South Australia cop a year's worth of rain in 24 hours. And it's Tilly's time. We are live, counting down to kick off in the Women's Asian Cup.
This is 10 News with Georgie, Tunny.
Good evening. As we go to air tonight, explosions are still being heard across the Middle East, nearly a day after Israel and the United States launched a joint barrage of deadly strikes on Iran that killed hundreds, including the country's supreme leader. The first strikes hit just before 9:30 in the morning local time, with blasts ringing out across Iran, including in the capital, Tehran. A primary school next to a military target was reportedly among infrastructure hit, with dozens killed. Iran's response was swift, firing on regional US Army bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar and the UAE. Explosions reported across the Middle East, luxury buildings, even one of the world's busiest airports struck, sending travellers running. Tonight, the destruction is growing, repercussions far-reaching. Global flights have been disrupted, Australians among those stranded with no way home. And as you'll hear shortly, our Prime Minister has responded with decisive support for the US and Israel attack. But first, Chris Campy begins our coverage.
This was no midnight hammer. A daylight attack with no forewarning launched by Israel and the United States on Iran's capital. Dubbed Operation Epic Fury by the US and Lion's Roar by Israel, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's compound and the capital district were among the first struck as missiles rained down in Tehran and on targets across the country. When the dust settled, that was about all that was left. State television later confirmed the Supreme Leader was dead. His daughter, son and daughter-in-law and a grandchild are also believed to have been killed. At least another 40 Iranian officials have been reported dead, the wider toll expected to be in the hundreds and climbing. But it was key leadership figures and military installations the attacks were aimed at. National Security Council member Ali Shamkhani and Islamic Revolutionary Guard commander Mohammad Pakpour are understood to have met with Khamenei shortly before the strikes. They too are now dead. It was a strategic move to hit the leadership structure before what the US and Israel say will be days of sustained operations, or as long as necessary, posted Donald Trump.
The United States regime jointly and in coordination with the Israeli regime initiated an unprovoked and premeditated aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
In Manab, in the south of the country, 600 metres from a base for the Iranian Republican Guard Corps, locals say a school was hit, with estimates that over 100 have been killed.
Simply to say those civilian targets were hit because they were in the vicinity of military bases, that's nonsensical. They indiscriminately and intentionally attacked these places.
Iran may have been caught by surprise, but was always expected to hit back quickly. Sirens rang out in Israel as a barrage of missiles and drones were launched, most struck down by air defences. Any countries hosting US military sites were next to be fired upon. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar was a target, others in Kuwait and the UAE. In Bahrain, strikes aimed for the US Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters, but suicide drones also hit residential towers. As the airspace shut down across the region, the world's busiest airport was hit in Dubai. Not far away, the Fairmont Hotel was left burning. The world-famous Burj Al Arab also in flames. Abu Dhabi's airport hit too, killing a person in the terminal and injuring more. Planes were turned around, redirected or cancelled altogether as the skies lit up with repeated drone or missile strikes.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is exercising its inherent unlawful right of self-defense under Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations.
Unsuccessful negotiations had been ongoing in relation to Iran's nuclear operations, but it's believed this strike was months in the planning. At an emergency meeting called by the UN Security Council, it was clear they had not been read in.
Mr. President, third, the region and the world need a way out now. I call for de-escalation and an immediate cessation of hostilities.
Both Russia and China joined criticism of the strikes, while those behind them doubled down.
Distinguished delegates, this is a moment in history that requires moral clarity, and President Trump has met the moment.
A moment Donald Trump says that arrived after 47 years of what he called an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder.
A violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut. They knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole, killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer.
But other historical context, it seems, the president was able to disregard.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate.
This negotiation by force, says the current president, is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country.
We did not act of impulse. We did not act of aggression. We acted out of necessity because the Iranian regime left no reasonable alternative.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, said Benjamin Netanyahu, addressing the citizens of Iran. There were cheers from high above and on the streets below, where tens of thousands died marching against the regime. But Iranians, like the rest of the world, can't be certain just what comes next.
And Chris Campy joins me now at the news desk. Chris, what happens next for Iran's leadership?
Well, Georgie, we're hearing reports of an interim council led by the president, but that's only for the short term. Realistically, this country will require some time to pause in order to reshape, and they're certainly not getting any of that just yet. These are some images that are just coming into the newsroom this evening. Iran, a short time ago, claimed they are carrying out their 6th wave of retaliation attacks, with 27 US bases and a number of Israeli military sites being targeted. Now, sirens are again sounding in Doha. The Islamic Republican Guard say successive regrettable slaps will go on as revenge. Of course, the US and Israel have both said their attacks will continue as long as they deem necessary. Now, beyond all of that, Georgie, of course, the sabre-rattling, the rhetoric, all the things we've heard about liberation for the greater good, the reality for the future leadership of Iran may not be as clear as certainly Donald Trump would indicate that it could be. The Supreme Leader and Ayatollah knew there was a chance that his days were numbered, and it's understood he'd been laying out succession plans for the event of his own demise. He and his supporters had resisted decades of these attempts and overthrows and even assassinations, so any plan that he would leave behind likely had many layers, and of course depends how many of those people who knew the plan are still alive. Now, under normal circumstances, a group of religious experts, they'd get together and they would decide a replacement. But if conflict is ongoing and fighting back is a priority for the country, then it could be military leadership that we see in the short term. This will only be the second change at the top for Iran in 50 years, so there will be hardline supporters putting up their hands. But as we've seen in recent months, more people than ever have been willing to risk their lives, take to the streets and challenge that tyrannical rule. So from outside the borders, at least, Georgie, there is likely to be a significant push for this change to be significant and meaningful for those people on the ground.
Comprehensive reporting from you today. Thank you very much, Chris Campy. And Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has thrown his support behind the US missile strike on Iran, saying the death of the Supreme Leader, quote, will not be mourned. But tonight there are concerns for Australians stranded in the region with limited options for federal government assistance.
This couldn't be mistaken for anything but euphoria. A street party forming in front of the Iranian embassy in Canberra.
This is the result of how satisfied the people of Iran are with the actions of President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
A stark contrast to other members of Australia's 50,000-strong Iranian community mourning in Melbourne.
How many kids have you killed today?
But Operation Epic Fury has Anthony Albanese's full-throated support.
We support the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Offering one of the strongest backings among world leaders for the strike on Iran, which killed the Supreme Leader.
He was responsible for orchestrating attacks on Australian soil. His passing will not be mourned.
Referring to anti-Semitic attacks in Melbourne and Sydney linked to Iran.
The Iranian regime is no friend of Australia, nor our allies, nor any freedom-loving person.
Australia, we're told, did not get a heads up and is unlikely to join any military action.
Obviously, we did not participate in the strikes, and you would not expect us to participate.
Can you rule out Australia?
You would not expect us to participate.
The Foreign Minister leaving it to the US and Israel to justify the legal basis for the strikes and not commenting on whether the Pine Gap intelligence base near Alice Springs was involved.
Like a reflex action, it backs in Donald Trump, it backs in bombing, it backs in killing, and when it does that, it betrays international law and basic human decency.
So far, there are no reports of Australian casualties in the Middle East, but tonight there are grave concerns for their safety, with the risk of a regional war rising. DFAT's crisis centre in Canberra has received 400 calls since last night.
I would say to Australians, this is a difficult period. The days ahead will be difficult, and we will do our best to give you the information we are able to get to you.
Aussies like Seamus Sinnott, who lives in Dubai.
I literally just heard 3 missiles above me, like 3 bangs.
The finance tech entrepreneur deciding to grab a bag and leave his building.
If the missile comes, you can see it coming, you can quickly run, and you won't be trapped.
The federal government's open to repatriation flights, but the airspace is closed and options for help are limited.
We're doing this on an hour-by-hour, minute-by-minute basis because our priority is keeping Australians safe. Thanks very much.
Chloe Boris, 10 News.
Well, right now the Iranian community is gathering in Sydney to mark what they are calling a very emotional and historic moment for Iranians right around the world. Let's head straight to Zoe Martin, who is there in Hyde Park. Zoe, what have you been seeing, hearing, feeling where you are?
Georgie, it's been a big celebration. Speeches are just about to get underway, but there's been dancing, there's been singing, there's been flags, Australian, American, Iranian flags being waved. The rally is right now well underway. More than 200 people right now here, men, women and children, all smiling, and we saw one woman giving out roses, we saw another handing out dessert. There's a real sense of community. They're calling it a celebration, a chance for the community to come together to express their happiness and solidarity, but at the same time be surrounded and supported by one another as they think about loved ones still in Iran. After 47 years of repression, they say they're finally free. There's expected to be a number of speeches to follow tonight, a historic moment for Iranians here and right around the world. But above all, there's a real sense of hope here, hope that this might mark a path forward to freedom and peace for the people here and overseas. Georgie, people have described this as a dream come true, so I expect the singing and dancing to continue well into the night.
Zoe Martin in Sydney, thank you very much. Now, the joint military operation between the US and Israel against Iran has drawn response across the international community, with many fearing the conflict may escalate. Patrick Murrell is live in London. Pat, just how has Europe reacted to the conflict?
Broadly speaking, there's been muted support of the US. Europe supports the objective of the US and Israel, namely thwarting Iran's nuclear program, and they've condemned Iran's retaliatory strikes in the region, calling on the regime to lay down its arms and negotiate. But they've stopped short of explicitly endorsing the US and Israeli preemptive strikes on Iran, instead leaving it to Iran and putting the ball on Iran and in Iran's court to negotiate. That's not a rule. However, there are some differences of opinion in Spain. In particular, the Prime Minister there has actually condemned the US and Israeli strikes, describing it as unlawful unilateral action. Looking further abroad at France, President Macron there calling for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, a move echoed by others, including China and Russia, which has also condemned the US strikes, of course, being a close ally of the Iranian regime. Now, earlier we saw Germany, France and the UK issue a joint statement condemning the Iranian regime, calling on them to negotiate and hoping for a downfall and a change for the people in Iran. The focus from Europe, which was not given a heads up for the strikes, has been protecting its own assets in the region. And we heard Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer here in the UK say that yesterday there were British jets in the air protecting their assets. Take a look.
It is vital that we prevent further escalation and return to a diplomatic process. We want to see peace and security and the protection of civilian life. Iran can end this now. They should refrain from further strikes, give up their weapons programs, and cease the appalling violence and repression against the Iranian people, who deserve the right to determine their own future in line with our long-standing position.
Now, of course, Iran has a large diaspora community, economic migrants, as well as plenty of political asylum seekers around the world. Today, those from the US to Europe and even further beyond, in the hours following the US strikes, were out in the streets celebrating. The regime, of course, a big reason of why many of them have been forced to move abroad. They're hoping that these strikes will initiate a change back home so they will eventually be able to return.
Patrick Murrell in London, thank you very much for joining us. The barrage of strikes has caused travel turmoil on a global scale. Thousands of flights have been disrupted as some of the world's biggest transport gateways shut their airspaces. And as travel plans remain up in the air, our government urgently changed its advice overnight, putting several more countries in the region on do not travel lists, including Qatar, Lebanon, Kuwait, Bahrain and the UAE, and urging Australians to reconsider travel to countries such as Jordan.
A rare sight, planes idle on the tarmac at Melbourne Airport.
There isn't really a historical precedent on this level of scale.
Passengers like Chris scrambling to get home to London slugged thousands.
I get no recompense at all because it's war, and I've got to fund my own hotel costs and an alternative flight. They have offered me a flight from Doha to London, but I don't know how to get to Doha first.
Those left stranded, forced to trade comfort for carry-on.
The only way now is to go back. So probably if I get an accommodation today, sleep one night here in Sydney and back home to Auckland tomorrow.
Flights to Doha, Dubai and Abu Dhabi abruptly cancelled. Europe-bound services caught in the fallout.
Last night, I upgraded our travel advice to do not travel.
We were on the flight for about 3 hours, sitting. And then eventually they told us, no, we cannot fly.
Our major gateway effectively cut off.
Currently, there's a lot of confusion coming from the airlines and from the airports around things like flight closures, the availability of flights.
For some, the shock came mid-air, already hours into the journey and over the Indian Ocean before the call to turn back.
We've already seen flights return to Australia that were unable to land in either Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And
we caught the flight from Sydney to Doha. Somewhere up in the air, we were turned round. No food, no drink, just nobody. No wheelchair.
More than 14,000 delays have been recorded worldwide, with backlog building.
There's all sorts of flow-on impacts from these types of events. We saw similar during the Ukraine, or the start of the Ukraine conflict, where flights were having to reroute across Europe. So there's obviously increases in running costs for the airlines.
The fallout hitting sport as well. Formula One scrapping the tyre test in Bahrain. But the Australian Grand Prix remains on track, despite some teams caught up in Dubai. Iran's female football team are already here ahead of their match on Thursday.
For these games and tournament, we want to show the potential of Iranian female.
While current travel plans around the globe are up in the air, some optimism from experts.
It depends on how things play out over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully European summer should still be on the cards.
Rebecca Powell, 10 News.
And let's go to Rebecca Powell now, live at Melbourne Airport. Beck, more Australian flights are being disrupted tonight.
Georgie, at least 8 flights out of Melbourne Airport in the past 24 hours have been cancelled, but it's been a bit of a moving feast here up until 20 minutes ago. Some of the check-in counters to Doha, well, they were still open, but 3 flights that were due to fly out of Melbourne tonight, they have been cancelled, and there are dozens more across the country, across the past 24 hours, that have been affected by these closures. I can also tell you that there are 28 aircraft currently grounded at airports across the country that were destined for the Middle East. They're no longer taking off, evidently. The advice to anybody with travel across the next few days is to keep a close eye on the advice provided by your airlines, as they are making the rules at the moment. Georgie, a long, weary night ahead for those travellers at Australian airports currently stuck in limbo.
It really is going to be that. Thank you very much, Beck. Well, still to come, we have the rest of the day's top stories, including one state's major investment to protect retail staff from violent offenders. Game on. We are live to Perth as the Tillies prepare to lock horns with the Philippines tonight. And an NRL season opener like no other. We'll be live from Las Vegas very shortly.
I've got this urge to do terrible things.
This is the week where Harry makes the dirtiest move.
Harry is so good at this game. He is always 2 steps ahead of everyone else.
Harry acting the way he is, just putting me on edge a little bit. Dirty Harry is back, and I'm going to burn this tribe to the ground.
It all starts to go down Monday on 10.
The Fan and Light Shop summer sale is on now, with up to 50% off across our huge range of fans, lights and ventilation. Don't wait, save up to half price while stocks last. Only at the Fan and Light Shop.
APT Luxury Travel has been crafting unforgettable journeys for nearly a century. From all-inclusive itineraries to exclusive experiences, led by expert travel guides. Relax into effortless indulgence. APT ensures your journey is seamless and truly unforgettable. APT, everything to a T.
If you're in South Australia, you can get $100 off a new NRMA comprehensive car insurance policy with promo code 100CAR. Visit nrma.com.au/SA offer. NRMA Insurance, a help company.
There's something in the air at Birdseye. Our lightest fish with 50% less oil is air-baked by us for the crispiest crumb. Air-baked fish. An eye for good. Birdseye.
Boating, camping, fishing is BCF fun. Exactly what that means will change for everyone. Bushweed's fun, crushing ice fun, worries none. Boating, camping, fishing is BCF fun. Hey!
Come on, darling, up you hop. There's a glass and a half in everyone. Cadbury Hollow Easter eggs, in store now.
Welcome to Barossa Bowland, now featuring our educational dinosaur walk, 10-pin bowling and dinosaur-themed mini-golf. Your family-friendly adventure awaits. Barossa Bowland.
The Women's Asian Cup kicks off with a Combank Matildas versus the Philippines tonight on 10 and Paramount Plus.
Welcome back. Well, flooding in South Australia has turned deadly, with police confirming a man trying to cross floodwaters has died. Swift water rescue crews were called to a flooded creek crossing in Orillia, around 4 hours north of Adelaide, after reports a man had been swept away. The body of a 47-year-old motorbike rider was found by emergency services. Some regions have had a year's worth of rain in just 24 hours, including more than 240 millimetres at Ceduna. And while some have been finding alternative ways to get through the water and making the most of it, police are urging motorists to never drive through floodwaters. South Australian families could be the first in the nation that don't have to pay public school fees. The ambitious plan unveiled by Labor in the lead up to the upcoming state election would cost taxpayers more than $152 million over the next 4 years. The nation-leading policy would save 90,000 families around $8,000 over their children's years in the public school system.
Raising kids is expensive. It's not cheap. There are costs everywhere you look. Healthcare costs, childcare costs, simply buying food for your family costs a lot of money. So there is an opportunity for government to provide relief when it comes to the cost of education.
The Greens have lashed the announcement, though, saying Labor has copied their homework after it introduced abolishing public school fees last year. The countdown is on as the Matildas prepare to kick off the AFC Women's Asian Cup campaign against the Philippines in Perth. Steve Allen is live at Optus Stadium for us. Steve, I'm very jealous of you over there. Not long now until the action begins.
That's right, Georgie. Yeah, fans are starting to dribble through now, but soon they'll be streaming into Optus Stadium as the Matildas and Philippines kick this tournament off. But there's been a bit of late drama for the Tillies, with the goalkeepers going down like flies. Mackenzie Arnold, the first choice keeper, she's unavailable, and as to why remains a mystery. Jada Wyman has gone down with a knee injury overnight and been ruled out for the entire tournament. And Morgan Aquino has been added late as a replacement player, which leaves Chloe Lincoln from the Brisbane Roar to take the gloves in tonight's game, where the Matildas will go in as heavy favourites against the 41st ranked women's nation. Mary Fowler won't get the start, but Sam Kerr will lead the Tillies out in front of an adoring home crowd. She will get a tremendous roar here, and in that crowd for the first time will be her son Jagger. Georgie, it's not really scarf weather at the moment, 26 degrees in Perth, not a cloud in the sky, but the Tillies' quest for a second Asian Cup title kicks off tonight, and you can catch it all live and free here on 10.
You can, and that's a compulsory uniform. Thank you very much, Steve Allen, over in Perth for us. And Rugby League is back as well, with the Las Vegas season opener extravaganza providing plenty of action. Trent Simpson is live at Allegiant Stadium. Trent, the NRL promised that this fixture would be bigger, would be better. Every single year, have they delivered?
They certainly have, Georgie. A record crowd of 45,000 fans flooded in here to Allegiant Stadium today for the third epic season opener, and it certainly didn't disappoint. Now, the fans were out bright and early on the strip this morning, and it must be said the English fans led the way, by far and away the loudest and the proudest and possibly the drunkest, before making their way here ahead of their Super League fixture. But then what a sight it was to see as the Bulldogs Brigade rolled in, thousands dressed in blue and white, strolling across and taking over the Las Vegas streets before their fixture. Georgie, if this wasn't the best show in town tonight, I certainly don't know what was. How was that walk compared to a walk from Belmore?
Mate, this is better. But nothing beats Belmore.
To see your Bulldogs out here, loud and proud, how proud does that make you?
Yeah, I know, mate. Listen, there's a lot of people that have come up to me. I've known them for probably 30 years. It's incredible. This is incredible. This is the best we've ever had, I reckon. Why not bring a grand final over here? How good would that be?
Have you heard the real king's in town, Clint Gutherson?
Clint Gutherson. Oh, I remember Clint. Yeah.
I think Elvis has seen a few better days there, Georgie. But as for the reason we're actually here, that's the players on field and they match the hype. Later in sport, of course, we'll have a full wrap of the action from the 3 games that happened today.
An event so big you can bring back the dead. What a great chat there with Elvis. Thank you so much, Trent. And Taylor Ryan joins me now with the latest on the weather. Taylor, what's the latest on that end of summer soaking that we've seen in the southern states?
Yeah, Georgie, it's not over yet, I'm afraid. In fact, there's still a way to go before things start to dry out across the south and east of the country. It is all due to that deep low that is dragging tropical moisture deep into South Australia, and that is what's driving all of that rain activity. And we've also got that trough extending from the low, and that's what's bringing it all west into Victoria. So let's go to the radar. This is the movement of that weather system today, and that vast yellow area that you can see there across 3 states remains under severe weather warnings tonight. And for a large part of that, we also have flood watch warnings. So in terms of rainfall totals, till 9 a.m. today, some standouts were Yunta in outback South Australia. That's seen 129 millimetres, while Mildura in Victoria had 66 millimetres. And we are likely to continue seeing totals of that magnitude because there's more rain coming. Tonight's focus will be on eastern South Australia before that system moves west into western New South Wales and northwest Victoria, where thunderstorms could bring very heavy falls, potentially another 30 to 50 millimetres over just a few hours. In terms of your capitals, this is how the rest of the country fared today, but I will be back with your full forecast and the latest warnings just before 6.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Taylor. And up next, we've got more on our top story. Inside Donald Trump's Florida command centre during the first strikes on Iran, the search for a mysterious croc snapped where he did not belong. And a Mardi Gras like no other, all the glitter and the colour from last night's celebration.
Place to see every game of the AFC Women's Asian Cup is on Paramount Plus.
Sportsbet salutes those who have a crack at moving house in one trip.
That's not going anywhere.
Ah, well, or telling a joke at work. Sign of the times. And he's having a crack at a relaxing Saturday. Shot. And when he wants to have a crack on the footy, it's fast and easy with Sportsbet, the #1 app for having a crack.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Mitsubishi's 10-year warranty with 10 years cap price servicing now includes 10 years roadside assistance.
Get out!
Drive away Triton GLXR from just $51,340 for ABN holders. Hurry into Mitsubishi today.
Hi, Dad. It's me, Zoe. I can't wait for you to hear better again. I love you, Dad. Hi, Dad.
It's not just your hearing. For us, it's your life. That's why we created the Amplifon Way. More than 2 million Australians have already assessed their hearing using our unique testing protocol. Now it's your turn. Visit one of our 350 clinics nationwide with prime locations open 7 days a week. Call 13MyEars today.
I'm just going for a break.
I want to break free. God knows I want to break free. But life still
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
This is an urgent message from the Smith family. More and more people are experiencing poverty, and the impact it's having on children is worrying. I see it every day. Low-income families are amongst the hardest hit, and children's education is at risk. Thousands of children are waiting for sponsors to support their education. many of these children will be going without the essentials and extra learning support they need. Go online or call to sponsor an Australian child now.
Unbeatable comfort, unbelievable savings. Is the chair you're sitting in right now really comfortable? If not, get comfortable with a tailor-made, custom-built recliner chair, measured and built just for you. And now, thanks to the support of our suppliers, we are bringing you our free half-price sale. Save over $1,500 on your perfect recliner, built to fit your unique needs and style. Don't wait. These incredible savings won't last long. Your comfort guaranteed. Posture Care.
Welcome to the new era of Formula One, and it all starts here with the Australian Grand Prix. Friday, live on 10.
Welcome back. Let's return to our top story now. And as the first strikes were deployed against Iran last night, US President Donald Trump was monitoring from Palm Beach in Florida. His Mar-a-Lago golf resort became a command centre while he communicated with other staff at the White House. Our US correspondent Catherine Firkin is in Florida and filed this report.
Well, President Trump has been here at his Mar-a-Lago resort all day today as the situation across the Middle East escalates. He's been joined by some high-level staff. Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth and General Dan Kane are also both here. Overnight, the group gathered in a secure room at this estate to monitor the launch of strikes on Iran, which President Trump has described as simply a massive assault.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people.
Now, Vice President J.D. Vance remained at the White House to coordinate efforts there. President Trump left it to Secretary of State Marco Rubio to notify Congress and the Gang of Eight leaders about the impending strikes. Rubio managed to get on to just 7 of those leaders before the bombs began to fall. Now, here at Mar-a-Lago is also the place where President Trump issued his early morning video address in which he told the nation that the Iranian regime had been responsible for mass terror across the globe for far too long and that the US would not tolerate it any longer.
They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
President Trump will remain here in Florida for at least the next 24 hours, working out of what is essentially a makeshift command centre. After that, he's set to return to Washington, D.C. to oversee the coming days of what is expected to be a costly and drawn-out operation.
Video has emerged of a group of motorbike riders performing stunts on a busy Sydney highway. Up to 40 riders is seen speeding down the Bradfield Freeway near the Harbour Bridge. The group seen weaving their way through traffic across 3 lanes. Police tracked the riders to the M4 tunnel but couldn't initiate a pursuit due to safety concerns. Reptile experts are still searching for a crocodile that was spotted in a creek near Newcastle yesterday. While authorities were able to briefly lay eyes on it last night, the predator has since disappeared again. Rangers and police have been alerted to this bizarre visitor, which really has caused quite the stir online. Still to come, a youth crime crackdown, the tough new powers to be introduced in one state to stop young offenders, and thousands have marched with pride and a hell of a lot of glitter through Sydney.
I've got this urge to do terrible things.
This is the week where Harry makes the dirtiest move.
And I'm going to burn this drive to the ground.
It all starts to go down Monday on 10.
Most people know me for what I do in the pool. But outside of training, I'm just like every Aussie. I want reliability, I want simplicity, and I want to make smart choices for my future. That's why I chose Tesseract Zero. Solar, a battery installation, all with no upfront cost. At 28 cents per kilowatt hour, that just makes sense. Find out how you can switch today at tesseractenergy.com.au.
Just how hard does Boost Mobile work? It goes harder than your mascara after a breakup. Or during. Sorry, Xander. Than a tradies accountant at tax time. Than a bin chicken on a Friday night. And even harder than Ned Brockman's nipple tape. Yep, with big coverage. Boost Mobile works its ass off.
When your dog's healthy on the inside, it shows. Take a closer look. Those eyes, that energy. Purina One helps support their healthy gut microbiome for visible health from the inside out. Purina One.
When quitting cigarettes feels overwhelming, we'll support you. When you've tried everything, we'll find an approach you hadn't thought of. Whenever you have a slip-up, we'll help get you back on track. When nobody understands how stressful it is, we'll get what you're going through. Trained quitline counsellors, many of them ex-smokers, will listen and tailor strategies just for you. Wherever you are on your quitting journey, quit makes quite a difference.
Get what you really want with Australia's #1 large SUV 2 years in a row. With $3,000 off the Ford Everest Trent. Available at participating Ford dealers now.
It's the ultimate classroom finale. And for our top 3 teams, we're firing things up.
We've got 3 mega challenges to get stuck into in this final episode.
Who will triumph? And who will crack under pressure?
So stressed.
As our teams fly sky high. Whoa. To be crowned the ultimate champion. Yeah. In the
Ultimate Classroom Finale.
6 p.m. Saturday on Nickelodeon.
Hot Seat's already given away over $500,000. So will there be another big buck payout?
It's getting scary.
Monday on 10.
You're watching 10 News. Well, recapping our top story tonight, fresh explosions are being heard in the Middle East more than a day after the US and Israel launched a major attack on Iran. A short time ago, the Islamic Republic claimed it's carrying out a 6th wave of retaliation strikes, with 27 US bases and a number of Israeli military sites being targeted. Sirens are also again sounding in Doha. Iran says successive regrettable slaps will go on as revenge. While Donald Trump has just taken to his social platform, warning the US will hit Iran with a force that has never been seen before if its retaliation continues. To other news now, and Australia's largest LGBTQIA+ celebration took over the streets of Sydney last night for the 48th annual Mardi Gras parade. Oxford Street was full of colour as thousands cheered on participants as they celebrated their pride.
As the bikes roar, the community celebrates. The 48th annual Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade took over Sydney for an explosion of colour and love.
It's black joy, it's community, it's pride.
Featuring over 150 floats, the parade features everyone, from architects to rugby players, teachers to politicians. No one, not even those at the first Mardi Gras, could have foreseen just how big this would become.
And it's really fabulous seeing all these young people and for them to know it's all right, it's okay to be LGBTQI.
It's one of Sydney's biggest events and crowds were commended for their behaviour. But video has emerged of police forcibly removing some participants as they attempted to march.
I have just been violently assaulted by the police, grabbed by the neck and thrown to the floor.
Police say 4 people were arrested last night for breaching the peace, but no charges were laid. But for those on the strip, nothing could take away their joy.
It just means so much to me to be here today.
Tonight's celebrations are a staple in the New South Wales event calendar, and it's no wonder why. Thousands flock to Sydney for the Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras to acknowledge the fight for equality, to celebrate the LGBTQ community, and most importantly, to feel pride.
Pride means inclusion, pride means that everyone is loved, everyone is welcome.
Celebrations continued well into the morning, but even as the cleanup operation begins, nothing can remove the pride.
Happy Mardi Gras! Thanks for joining us, everybody!
Elliot Hasty, 10 News.
Well, let's keep the glittering theme going because it's time for sport now with Nick Butler. And Nick, it's game time for the Tillies.
Hello, George. Yes, we're injury hit, but we're up for the fight. We'll head pitch side for a preview later. Yes, our girls have been chilling out today, but it's bring on the Philippines, and that's right after the news. Plus, and talk about good genes. Georgie James shows she's got game, just like the old man does.
Tonight, get behind our Tillies as they kick off the Women's Asian Cup against the Philippines. Live 7 o'clock tonight on 10 and Paramount Plus. Welcome to the big show.
I'm Nat from O'Brien. These cracks all started as chips. Happens a lot. We replace thousands of windscreens, but a chip repair is faster, cheaper and greener. And with car insurance, your repair is usually free. Book today.
A great night's sleep can make all the difference. It can be the difference between having dreams and making them come true. A great night's sleep, night after night after night. That is the difference. The difference is temper.
For 60 years, Colorbond steel has been made by you and by your dreams. But most of all, by this country. Because a land like this demands durability. From scorching sun to harsh storms and ferocious winds, we weather it all with strength and resilience. That's why for 60 years, we've helped you make your Australian dream. Colorbond, made by Australia.
I'm just going for a break.
To break free. God knows I want to break free. But life still
Have a break.
Lumo Energy is fully Australian owned and helps thousands of happy South Australians with easy energy plans and great value. We support SA's brilliant small businesses, the amazing Adelaide Arts, and lighten the load for local sports clubs and communities. So illuminate the positive with Lumo Energy. Join today for a brighter SA.
Lumo Energy.
Half protection is not enough. Using just an antivirus online is also not enough. Get better online protection with NordVPN. It'll encrypt your online traffic, protect you from malware, phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get NordVPN now.
Who said healthy food's got to be boring, right?
So let me give you some incredible recipes.
Jamie Oliver, Eat Yourself Healthy, Friday on 10.
Good evening. Well, the Matildas have been rocked by injury ahead of their Asian Cup opener against the Philippines tonight. Now, the team has been forced to call upon its fourth-string keeper for the clash in Perth. Tara Rushton has all the details.
That's right, Nick. It's not the ideal way the Matildas wanted to kick off their Asian Cup campaign. I'm joined by Elise Callon-Knight, a Matildas great who's lifted the Asian Cup. In goal, we didn't want to see it happen. A big injury ahead of a major tournament, but tonight sparks a huge opportunity for 21-year-old goalkeeper Chloe Lincoln. This is going to be the biggest night of her life.
What an opportunity. I mean, essentially three things had to go not quite right for the Matildas for her to get this opportunity tonight. We've had three keepers, Micah, Arnold and Jada Wyman, been ruled out, and we're left with fourth choice Lincoln. But she is not fourth choice. She's going to have an amazing game ahead of her. She's a local player playing in the A-League for Brisbane, but I don't think she's played in front of 60,000 people before, so this is going to be a whole new challenge she's faced with.
What an opportunity for Chloe tonight. And talking about experience, you get that up top. It is the tried and tested front three that we know, and it's going to be led by the hometown hero, Sam Kerr.
Yeah, we've got the weapons on tonight for you to look at. So Ford up front, Kerr in the middle, and then Rasso on the right wing. We have the weapons ready fired, so I'm hoping for a high-scoring game.
Perth Stadium, 60,000 fans, an Asian Cup opener here on home soil. How does the team really use that energy, the butterflies and the nerves to their advantage against the Philippines?
Yeah, let's not shy away from, there will be nerves tonight. Playing on home soil brings a whole new sense of pressure, so the girls will be feeling it. But that's only for the first 5 minutes of the game. Once we get that first goal, we'll be away into the tournament.
Well, fingers crossed it's going to be absolutely rocking here at Perth Stadium tonight. Bring it on and go the Matildas.
Indeed, and you can support the Matildas by sending 10 News your message to the team via email, videos@network10.com.au. Get creative and perhaps you might even feature in our play of the day. Well, Sydney has secured a tough win on the road against Wellington to regain third spot on the A-League ladder. Alexander Popovich bagged the only goal to collect 3 crucial points.
Squared across and an easy tap-in. Wellington concede. Sydney break the deadlock.
Wellington now on the bottom of the table after the Wanderers thumped Macarthur 4-0 last night. Well, the NRL season is off and running, and it started with a stunning upset by last year's Wooden Spooners. Trent Simpson is live in Vegas for us, and Trent, we weren't expecting that.
No, not at all, Butts. That's exactly right. In front of 45,000 people here at Allegiant Stadium, the Cowboys were heavily favoured, but they just lacked polish and execution. The Knights clearly a cut above. Even after losing Fletcher Sharp to injury, their 5'8" on the left-hand side was doing wonders for them. He went off the field. Kalen Ponga took control in what was a remarkable performance for his first game since June last year, if you can believe it.
Vegas becoming win city for the Knights. Ted Roker, 10 News.
In the other game, Butts, just wow. It's the only way to describe it. The Bulldogs knew they were the big ticket in town and they left it incredibly late with a field goal deep in Golden Point to break the Dragons' hearts.
The land of the red, white and blue, Allegiant Stadium became a sea of it. The Dragons was a penalty fest for the remainder of the first half. The Dogs capitalising. Toby Couchman, the first Dragon, put on report, though only a slap on the wrist for Stephen Crichton, with just 2 points the difference at half-time. Brook East, 10 News.
So, Butts, there you go. Another year, another success. The gamble continuing to pay off here in Sin City. The story, of course, Newcastle wooden spooners last year. They're now on top of the table.
Nice work. Go and have some fun. On to the cricket, and retiring cricketer Elisa Healy is ending her Aussie white ball career on a high note today, scoring a big ton to give her side a near-perfect platform in the third ODI
Elisa Healy
against India.
In her final ODI for Australia gets her 8th century, her 3rd against India, and what a way to finish your career.
Young gun Georgie couldn't back up her 100 heroics from the other day, but it was she was in the runs again. She was out for 62. Right, LeBron James's basketball bloodlines are strong. We know that. His son Bronny plays alongside him at the Lakers. Now, daughter Zuri is also showing signs she might be a WNBA star in the making if this pre-game shoot-around with Dad is anything to go by. Yeah, she's still just 11 years old. Let's bookmark Zuri James for a big future in the game, and she can kick it off with our play of the day. Too much talent for me. That's just unfair. That's sport, Georgie.
I'm with you. Thank you very much, Nick. And coming up next, Taylor Ryan has your weather details.
I've got this urge to do terrible things.
This is the week where Harry makes the dirtiest move.
Harry is so good at this game. He is always 2 steps ahead of everyone else.
Harry acting the way he is, just putting me on edge a little bit.
Dirty Harry is back, and I'm going to burn this tribe to the ground.
It all starts to go down Monday on 10.
If you're in South Australia, you can get $100 off a new NRMA comprehensive car insurance policy with promo code 100CAR. Visit nrma.com.au/SA offer. NRMA Insurance, a help company.
Half protection is not enough. Using just an antivirus online is also not enough. Get better online protection with NordVPN. It'll encrypt your online traffic, protect you from malware, phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get NordVPN now.
Introducing the all-new Subaru Forester, starting from $48,990 recommended drive-away price. Get ready to own the road and conquer the wild. It's you and Subaru for a world discovered.
When your dog's healthy on the inside, it shows. Take a closer look. Those eyes. That energy. Purina One helps support their healthy gut microbiome for visible health from the inside out. Purina One.
That's $250 for the night.
How? I paid $370.
Trivago.
But what if I like to use my loyalty rate?
It's on Trivago.
Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites so you can save up to 30%. Hotel Trivago.
We report on education because it provides opportunity, safety and fairness.
Parents deserve to know what is happening in their kids' schools.
We do all the research that the parents don't have to.
We're for our readers. We're for our subscribers.
And we're for you.
Welcome to the new era of Formula One. And it all starts here with the Australian Grand Prix. Friday, live on 10.
Hello again, it's time for a look at the weather now. So let's see how the start of your working week is shaping up. A deep low is dragging tropical moisture down into South Australia, and that is driving some intense rain activity. The wet weather is also affecting Victoria, of course, as a trough extending from that low brings all that wild weather along with it. You'll notice that coming to life here on the rain map, where you can see how that heavy rain is being dragged down into the southeast of the country and slowly moving west, with the heaviest falls that dark red area. I want to show you, this is the movement of that weather system today, and importantly, that vast yellow area you can see across those three states remain under severe weather warnings tonight, and for a large part of that we also have flood watch warnings. Now, it's not quite over yet. Tomorrow is still expected to be a day of severe weather. So let's take a look at the forecast now, beginning in Queensland, of course, where we're expecting some coastal showers moving through tomorrow morning. Partly cloudy conditions through the southern and central interior, though. Through the southeast, a morning shower or two around the Gold Coast, and a possible shower for Brisbane, reaching 29 degrees there. In New South Wales tomorrow, as mentioned earlier, those widespread showers are expected to impact the state's west and south, even extending into central parts of the state, including Orange. Taking a closer look at Sydney and surrounding areas tomorrow, a partly cloudy day in the city and along the coast, with 28 the top in the CBD. Further west, there is the chance of a shower. Won't be much in it, though, and it is more likely during the late afternoon or evening. Looking at Victoria, as expected, widespread rain with embedded thunderstorms will impact much of the state. They will begin in the west and ramping up, slowly moving east. Now, the heaviest falls are expected, like I said, through the west and central parts of the state, with a severe weather warning for intense rainfall still in effect tonight, and that is expected to remain in place tomorrow. It's not hard to see why. That rain is expected to be quite relentless, and Melbourne, you will cop it, with anywhere between 15 and 40 millimetres expected to fall across the city. Some of that rainfall will also make its way down to Tasmania too, with 20 millimetres expected in Launceston, a little less in Hobart, although it will mostly be through the morning and heading for a top of 25 degrees there. Another wet and wild day is expected across South Australia's east, with widespread rain and storms, particularly around the border districts, where flood warnings are expected to stay current into tomorrow and perhaps further into the week too. Adelaide, though, you should continue to dodge the worst of that intense rainfall, with a cloudy day expected across much of the city, a top of 25. Stick around. I'll be back with your extended forecast in half an hour.
Tonight's top stories. More explosions are ringing out across the Middle East tonight as Donald Trump warns Iran against carrying out more retaliatory strikes. Our Prime Minister has thrown his support behind the joint US-Israel strike, saying the death of the Supreme Leader will not be mourned.
Against what is.
And flight disruptions are continuing in Australia and across the globe as airspaces around the Middle East remain closed. Let's get back to our top story tonight, and there are reports of more explosions in the Iranian capital. It comes after Donald Trump issued a stern warning to Tehran that the US would hit them with a force that it's never seen before if it continued retaliating. Now, it's been more than 24 hours since the first of the joint US and Israel strikes hit Iran, with blasts ringing out across the country, including in the capital, Tehran. A primary school next to a military target was reportedly among those hit, with dozens killed. Iran's response was swift, firing on regional US army bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar and the UAE. Explosions seen across the Middle East, luxury buildings, even one of the world's busiest airports struck, sending travellers running.
This was no midnight hammer. A daylight attack with no forewarning launched by Israel and the United States on Iran's capital. Dubbed Operation Epic Fury by the US and Lion's Roar by Israel, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's compound and the capital district were among the first struck as missiles rained down in Tehran and on targets across the country. When the dust settled, that was about all that was left. State television later confirmed the Supreme Leader was dead. His daughter, son and daughter-in-law and a grandchild are also believed to have been killed. At least another 40 Iranian officials have been reported dead, the wider toll expected to be in the hundreds and climbing. But it was key leadership figures and military installations the attacks were aimed at. National Security Council member Ali Shamkhani and Islamic Revolutionary Guard commander Mohammad Pakpour are understood to have met with Khamenei shortly before the strikes. They too are now dead. It was a strategic move to hit the leadership structure before what the US and Israel say will be days of sustained operations, or as long as necessary, posted Donald Trump.
The United States regime jointly and in coordination with the Israeli regime initiated an unprovoked and premeditated aggression against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
In Manab, in the south of the country, 600 metres from a base for the Iranian Republican Guard Corps, locals say a school was hit, with estimates that over 100 have been killed.
Simply to say those civilian targets were hit because they were in the vicinity of military bases, that's nonsensical. They indiscriminately and intentionally attacked these places.
Iran may have been caught by surprise, but was always expected to hit back quickly. Sirens rang out in Israel as a barrage of missiles and drones were launched, most struck down by air defences. Any countries hosting US military sites were next to be fired upon. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar was a target, others in Kuwait and the UAE. In Bahrain, strikes aimed for the US Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters, but suicide drones also hit residential towers. As the airspace shut down across the region, the world's busiest airport was hit in Dubai. Not far away, the Fairmont Hotel was left burning. The world-famous Burj Al Arab also in flames. Abu Dhabi's airport hit too, killing a person in the terminal and injuring more. Planes were turned around, redirected or cancelled altogether as the skies lit up with repeated drone or missile strikes.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is exercising its inherent unlawful right of self-defense under Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations.
Unsuccessful negotiations had been ongoing in relation to Iran's nuclear operations, but it's believed this strike was months in the planning. At an emergency meeting called by the UN Security Council, it was clear they had not been read in.
Mr. President, third, the region and the world need a way out now. I call for de-escalation and an immediate cessation of hostilities.
Both Russia and China joined criticism of the strikes, while those behind them doubled down.
Distinguished delegates, this is a moment in history that requires moral clarity, and President Trump has met the moment.
A moment Donald Trump says that arrived after 47 years of what he called an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder. This, says the current president, is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country.
We did not act of impulse. We did not act of aggression. We acted out of necessity because the Iranian regime left no reasonable alternative.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, said Benjamin Netanyahu, addressing the citizens of Iran. There were cheers from high above and on the streets below, where tens of thousands died marching against the regime. But Iranians, like the rest of the world, can't be certain just what comes next. Chris Campy, 10 News.
And the Australian government says it wasn't given a heads up and didn't participate in the strike on Iran. But Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has offered his support for the missile attack, claiming no one will mourn the Supreme Leader.
This couldn't be mistaken for anything but euphoria. A street party forming in front of the Iranian embassy in Canberra.
This is the result of how satisfied the people of Iran are with the actions of President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
A stark contrast to other members of Australia's 50,000-strong Iranian community mourning in Melbourne.
How many kids have you killed today?
But Operation Epic Fury has Anthony Albanese's full-throated support.
We support the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Offering one of the strongest backings among world leaders for the strike on Iran, which killed the Supreme Leader.
He is responsible for orchestrating attacks on Australian soil. His passing will not be mourned.
Referring to anti-Semitic attacks in Melbourne and Sydney linked to Iran.
The Iranian regime is no friend of Australia, nor our allies, nor any freedom-loving person.
Australia, we're told, did not get a heads up and is unlikely to join any military action.
Obviously, we did not participate in the strikes, and you would not expect us to participate.
Can you rule out Australia?
You would not expect us to participate.
The Foreign Minister leaving it to the US and Israel to justify the legal basis for the strikes and not commenting on whether the Pine Gap intelligence base near Alice Springs was involved.
Like a reflex action, it backs in Donald Trump, it backs in bombing, it backs in killing, and when it does that, it betrays international law and basic human decency.
So far, there are no reports of Australian casualties in the Middle East, but tonight there are grave concerns for their safety, with the risk of a regional war rising. DPAT's crisis centre in Canberra has received 400 calls since last night.
I would say to Australians, this is a difficult period. The days ahead will be difficult, and we will do our best to give you the information we are able to get to you.
Aussies like Seamus Sinnott, who lives in Dubai.
I literally just heard 3 missiles above me, like 3 bangs.
The finance tech entrepreneur deciding to grab a bag and leave his building.
If the missile comes, you can see it coming, you can quickly run, and you won't be trapped.
The federal government's open to repatriation flights, but the airspace is closed and options for help are limited.
We're doing this on an hour-by-hour, minute-by-minute basis because our priority is keeping Australians safe. Thanks very much.
Chloe Boris, 10 News.
Well, thousands of flights have been thrown into chaos after several of the world's busiest transport hubs abruptly shut their airspace. As travel plans hang in limbo, the Australian government has rushed to update advice overnight, adding Qatar, Lebanon, Kuwait, Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates to the do not travel list. Australians are also being urged to reconsider travel to Jordan and Saudi Arabia as tensions across the region continue to escalate. Rebecca Powell is at Melbourne Airport.
Georgie, at least 8 flights out of Melbourne in the past 24 hours have been cancelled. 4 last night were turned around mid-air, but travellers here tonight in Melbourne were hoping to get on some flights to Doha. The check-in counters remained open until 5 p.m. Then those flights were cancelled. There are no flights to the Middle East out of Melbourne this evening, and I can tell you that there are 28 aircraft currently grounded at Australian airports across the country that were originally destined to the Middle East. Anybody with flights or travel plans across the next few days, the best advice is to keep a close eye on the apps from your provided airline where you've booked your tickets, as the airports are actually not making these decisions at the moment, and to keep across the Smart Traveller website around any safety warnings if it is still safe to travel should your plane be taking off. Georgie, a long night ahead for travellers that are currently in limbo at Australian airports.
Rebecca Powell there. Let's get to some of the day's other news now, and a program that saw police officers patrolling shopping centres in a bid to boost retail safety has been given a multi-million-dollar boost in Victoria. Since it started in December, there have been almost 500 arrests, with retail workers welcoming the decision to make the police presence more permanent.
Taking steps to keep boots on the ground inside shopping centres.
We have seen unacceptable levels of theft and crime around retail areas.
An additional $6.5 million we put into resourcing Operation Pulse until the end of 2026. The operation saw police officers placed in several shopping centres across Melbourne to deter and prevent offending.
The scoreboard is clear, the results are clear, community confidence and the confidence of our retailers who work so very hard to provide services in our community deserve to be safe.
Since police were deployed in December, more than 450 arrests have been made and 900 charges laid.
About 1/3 of the offences are shop stealing offences, so thefts. We've seen drug offences as the next group.
A string of violent offending left retailers desperate for help.
84% of the community surveyed have said they feel safer in shopping centres, and more than 90% of retail tenants have said that they would like the operation extended.
But not everyone thinks it's the solution.
All they'll do is wait till the
the security's gone and then the buggers will come back.
But authorities credit the move with a 73% drop in shop theft and a 50% decrease in violent incidents.
What the stats don't show us is the crime that's being prevented. The stats show us how people feel safer in shopping centres.
Sophie Jacobson, 10 News.
The Queensland Government is introducing a third round of tougher youth crime laws to state parliament this week, expanding adult crime, adult time to cover 45 serious offences. 12 new offences have been added after recommendations by an expert legal panel, including domestic and sexual violence crimes, assault occasioning bodily harm, riot, stalking, conspiring to murder, choking in a domestic setting and indecent treatment of a child.
This takes the number of adult crime, adult time offences in this state to 45. And as we said, every change we make will be about strengthening the laws after a decade about weakening the laws. And that is our focus.
The state government says victim numbers have fallen 7.2% in 2025 and it will push to strengthen sentencing and invest in early intervention and rehabilitation programs. Well, coming up next, just another player. The Blues refuse to buy into the Charlie Curnow hype and are taking the same path as Piastri. We meet the next big thing in Aussie motorsport.
Get behind our Tillies as they take on Asia's best.
Hey Matildas, bring home the bacon. Let's go, Tillies.
Matildas, we're right behind you, sending you so much love and love.
The Women's Asian Cup kicks off with the Combank Matildas versus the Philippines. Next on 10 and Paramount Plus.
Admiring the Mona Lisa? Good. Having the Mona Lisa to yourself? Great. Sharing a Kinder Bueno with her? That's bueno. Smooth milk chocolate, crispy wafer, creamy hazelnut filling. Elevate every moment with Kinder Bueno.
With Aldi's whole fresh chicken now only $3.99 per kilo, it can be Sunday every day. Ah, Sundays. Aussie chicken at Aldi prices. Aldi, good different.
A great finish on your deck goes back to the start. And when you start with Spec-Rite Mobile Timber, it comes pre-oiled, ready for a finishing coat and easy to install for a premium natural look that lasts. Spec-Rite Mobile Timber, the start of a great finish.
What do a bus driver, a sci-fi wizard and a writer have in common? When they want extra strength pain relief for tough pains, they stop for Panadol Extra. Panadol Extra has a combination of ingredients that provides more powerful pain relief. And Chemist Warehouse has Panadol Extra for a great price every day.
Get what you really want with Australia's #1 large SUV 2 years in a row. With $3K off the Ford Everest Trend. Available at participating Ford dealers now.
Can't get meatballs off the mind? Just sizzle, pour, shake, cheeky, and answer big cravings with big flavour. Master Foods. You made it.
Sportsbet salutes those who have a crack at conquering Everest. Go up. Or Nan, who had a crack at surfing. And tonight, old mate's having a crack at this banger. And when they want to have a crack on the footy, it's fast and easy with Sportsbet, the #1 app for having a crack.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Fast, mini and effective. Unleash the speed of liquid with new Nurofen Advanced Minis, our smallest liquid capsule ever. The everyday pain relief you love, now even smaller. Or when you need to get tough on pain, Nuromol's powerful combination of ibuprofen and paracetamol provides fast-acting, longer-lasting, more effective relief than paracetamol alone. Hit pain hard with Nuromol.
Where there's smoke, there's flavour. Introducing Domino's Southern Barbecue Chicken Range. Try Hot Honey Barbecue Chicken, loaded with succulent pulled chicken and drizzled with chili-infused hot honey. Fire up the flavour at Domino's.
Hot Seat's already given away over $500,000. So will there be another big buck payout?
It's getting scary.
Monday on 10.
Terry Irwin, an unmissable interview.
Sometimes you have to search for something, and it's hard, but we worked at it.
Her special connection with Angela Bishop.
You know, because we're both in the same club.
2 husbands, gone.
Does it still happen? Because it still happens to me.
Oh yeah, and when you least expect it.
A heartfelt 10 News Plus.
Doing great, kiddo.
As are you.
6 p.m. Monday.
Well, Carlton is talking down any Charlie Curnow tension heading into opening round. The Blues say the boom recruit will be treated like any other player on Thursday night.
Carlton's George Hewitt isn't buying into the mind games of facing friend turned foe Charlie Curnow, but the Blues midfielders labelled him just another player come first bounce.
I'm mates with Charlie, but on Thursday, he's an opponent. He was a great servant at this club, but it's going to be an exciting game and be good for the viewers to watch, which is cool.
Jacob Wiedering is still touch and go to play after an Origin rib injury. If fit, the Blues defender is expected to go straight to his former teammate.
He's going to get through this week. I think we hope he's a good chance, but he's got to train today and play Thursday, so Tuesday, and hopefully he's right to go.
A big game for Old Bloods Will Hayward and Ollie Florent, who face their former side, while Jagger Smith is set for his AFL debut after a ripper pre-season.
It's like he's been in the system for 10 years. He just gets it. Like, it's pretty incredible.
Days after change was demanded to the North Melbourne board, the Kangaroos responded.
Falls to Duverston, and that is a goal.
Alistair Clarkson's men winning by 1 point over the Magpies, who rested most of their big guns.
And to get a win for our group, it's obvious that we haven't really won many games in a long time now.
Coach Ross Lyon a keen onlooker today, given St Kilda faced Collingwood on Sunday. His Iron Man Callum Wilkie copped a cork calf against the Bombers. The Saints skipper was in danger of missing a game for the first time in his career, but the club believe he's likely to play the season opener. Jonathan Simon, 10 News.
Well, Man City has closed the gap on league leaders Arsenal with a gritty 1-0 win over Leeds United. But the result was overshadowed by crowd unrest.
Instead, it was a chorus of boos when play paused in the 13th minute to allow Muslim players on both sides to replenish themselves during religious ritual Ramadan, drawing widespread condemnation, including from Manchester manager Pep Guardiola.
It's a modern world, right? If we don't respect the religion, respect the diversity. That's where it is. Unfortunately.
At Anfield, Liverpool unleashed a new set-piece weapon.
Oh, where's that going? It's in.
3 first-half corner goals blew West Ham away as the Reds powered into the top 5 to tighten its grip on a Champions League spot. Jace Kemp, 10 News.
OK, veteran Brumby James Slipper has proved props can do it all, setting up his side's first try 70 metres out.
Ricochets and James Slipper kicks ahead and Meredith has got the jump on them. Meredith looking to collect the kick from Slipper. James Slipper with a try assist.
I haven't kicked in about 8 years, I reckon, and that's even at training. So to put one on the toe tonight, if you watch the replay, I didn't chase it at all.
Yes, the Canberra unit maintaining its perfect start to the season, downing the Blues 30-27. Well, he's being pumped up as a future Oscar Piastri. James Wharton is being backed as Australia's only full-time F3 driver this season. And Jonathan Simon caught up with him.
The days are counting down until the Australian Grand Prix, and if it was a competition of looking sharp, James Wharton, Australia's only junior this year in F3 and F2, I think you'd be top step of the podium. What's all this about?
Yeah, it's just my new seat for the 2026 season. I know, doing a little bit of preparation before the big night of Glamour on the Grid on Wednesday night, so hopefully it can be the best looking there.
You're racing for Prema this year in Formula 3. This is a team that's taken Oscar Piastri to junior titles in F2 and F3. Why the switch to Prema?
Prema has had the historic years and they've really proven that they're one of the best junior teams on the grid, and I've been there for so many years before last season. My first season I was with ART Grand Prix, but before that my whole junior career was with Prema Racing, so happy to be back, and to be honest I can't wait for Melbourne next week.
Piastri has Mark Webber on his side. What's your sales pitch to getting Mark on your side this year for 2026?
Well, he has a 100% success rate at the moment of getting Australians to F1, and I'm in promo racing, which Oscar was, so it's looking exactly the same at this point, so come on board and we'll see what we can do together.
Last year, you won your first race in Formula 3, but you won it in Austria. James, with the wrong country. Australia is where we need it this week. What would it mean to you to win a home race?
Yeah, Australia would mean the world to me. It's something that I've obviously thought about many, many times, and probably over the last couple of weeks more than what I probably should. Yeah, would be the first Australian to do it, so that's the drive and that's the motivation.
James Wharton, who'll be racing this weekend at the Australian Grand Prix. Good luck.
Thank you very much. See you guys soon.
Thank you, boys. And the UFC returns down under with Perth's RAC Arena to play host to hometown favourite and former welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena. He'll headline the UFC fight night when he faces number 5 ranked Brazilian Carlos Prates. It'll be the first of its kind, with the event to be broadcast to a prime time audience in Australia. And a reminder, you can catch all the action from every fight night on Paramount Plus. That's sport, Georgie. Go you! Phillies tonight.
Thank you so much, Nick. I echo that. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Coming up next, Taylor's got your forecast.
Survivors ready?
24 people
Get ready to push, guys!
ready to fight hard.
I am here for redemption and vengeance. I'm evil this time.
I absolutely want to target Harry and Simon, but you've got to know when the right time is.
Tomorrow we take control of this tribe.
3 players have gone.
Daniel, Kat, Eliza.
Now they all want control.
You're not running the tribe. Who's running it?
Yes, I'm driving the bus.
All this will lead to the dirtiest move on 10.
If you're in South Australia, you can get $200 off a new NRMA Home Buildings insurance policy with promo code 200HOME. Visit nrma.com.au/SA offer. NRMA Insurance, a help company.
Want the appearance of firmer, more plump skin? Try Dr. Lewin's Plump and Lift Collagen Surge Plumping Pearls from Chemist Warehouse. The advanced pearl technology visibly plumps and hydrates skin to reduce the visible signs of age-related skin concerns. After just 1 hour, 84% of users felt skin was more plumped. Get a firmer, sculpted look with Dr. Lewin's Plump and Lift Collagen Surge Plumping Pearls, just $38.99 at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous at Chemist Warehouse.
Because the juggle is real, and the mum guilt is too. Give more love than humanly possible when you feed one of Hill's scientifically proven formulas. Because you're only human, there's Hill's.
Harris Scarf Autumn Sale is on now. Save 50% off full-price cookware by Scanpan, plus 40% off full-price glassware and cutlery. Hurry, sale ends soon. Exclusions apply. See conditions online. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
Hey, darling.
Hey, Dad.
How was your shift?
Yeah, it was a long night.
Did you get any rest?
No, not really.
Have you eaten?
Not yet.
Well, make sure you get some sleep. Okay?
Yeah, I will soon. I'm on again tonight.
All right. I love you. Have a good shift.
The all-new Nissan Navara, built for the grid shift.
And hyaluronic acid, it's foundation that acts like skincare. New Lifter Plump and Glow Foundation.
Get behind our Tilly.
You'll notice all of that coming to life here on the rain map, where you can see that heavy rain from the tropics is being pulled into the country's southeast, with the heaviest falls, of course, that dark red area, and that vast yellow area here across 3 states does remain under severe weather warnings tonight. And for a large part of that, we do also have flood warnings in place. On that note, let's take a look at the capital city forecasts now. In Brisbane, a pretty decent start to the week. 29 the top tomorrow, but showers are heading your way from Wednesday, increasing towards the end of the week and sticking around for the weekend too. In Sydney this week, a bit of a mixed bag with a partly cloudy top of 28 tomorrow, a shower or two on Tuesday. It should clear by the afternoon with just a possible shower on Wednesday and a warm top of 30. But we will see the most shower activity likely to arrive in time for your weekend, I'm afraid. In Melbourne, as we know, a very, very wet day expected for you tomorrow. The good news is that weather should start to improve and you should begin to dry out as the week progresses. Staying cool to begin with a top of just 20 degrees on Tuesday, gradually warming up, hitting 26 by Thursday and again on Sunday. In Hobart this week, after a pretty rainy Monday, a partly cloudy and even sunny conditions will return throughout the midweek. We are also warming up there, a top of 26 degrees on Thursday, and the forecast looks beautiful as we head into the weekend as well. And of course, last but not least, the week ahead in Adelaide does look like a gorgeous first week of autumn. Tomorrow's cloud should begin to clear on Tuesday, paving the way for a warm and sunny week ahead. We could even crack 30 degrees by next weekend. Once more, let's take a look at those capital cities for you now. Tomorrow, 29, the top in Brisbane, partly cloudy, and 28 for Sydney. Very, very wet in Melbourne, again between 15 and 40 millimetres in the CBD there, while Adelaide should stay mostly dry and the east of the state should still expect to be on flood watch. So take care, and that is all from me tonight.
Thank you very much, Taylor. Good message. And that is it for 10 News for this Sunday as well. I'm Georgie Tunny. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
The AFC Women's Asian Cup 2026 is brought to you by Bunnings. Score great value with the lowest prices. And CommBank, proudly backing the AFC Women's Asian Cup.